Hey everyone, Joe Lignor here with your tip clip of the week. The word this week is passion. It's a complicated word. You want your kids to have passion because they perform best when they're passionate about something. It could be a musical instrument. It could be a sport. In the classroom, they're performing best when they're passionate, really into what they're doing. Think of yourself. You perform best if you're passionate. You can't wait to get to it. You totally lose yourself, immerse yourself in it. That's when you do your best, when you're passionate. There's only one problem though. Suppose you're talking to your middle schooler, your teen, even maybe elementary. They're passionate about what they're talking about, which doesn't agree with what you're talking about. And you're just as passionate. Those two passions butt heads, which is the ruin of many good educational talks you want to have with your child. You want to warn them. You've been through it. You've seen it coming around the corner many times in your life. You're trying to warn them, head them off about something. But they're just as passionate to do it as you are passionate to warn them and tell them the bad things that are in store for them if they keep it. And what does all this passion lead to? It suddenly becomes an awful place where words can be said, tempers are lost, tears begin to flow, sometimes maybe on both sides. You're just as upset as they are. They're just as passionate as you are. And oftentimes after a half hour, after tempers, after upsetment, nothing has been accomplished and both sides stomp off. So here's a little trick that works for me in the classroom and has worked for me at home with my own daughter as she went through her teen years. Oftentimes you can tell when they're not ready to discuss calmly because they're overly passionate about something. You know, stop. This is not going to go anywhere. Don't go further down into the rabbit hole. Stop. Don't argue. Nothing gets accomplished. Let your son or your daughter go to their room, go to the meal, whatever, but not right then. What's wrong with you writing a little note card, a little note explaining your point, what you were trying to say, putting it in an envelope, putting their name on it, maybe with a heart around their name, leaving it on the pillow on their bed for them to find later. Kids love to get mail. And in the privacy of their own room, they sit on the end of the bed and they read your note. And without anybody talking to them, they get a chance to think, roll things around in their head. And maybe most of the time, they calmly approach you. I got your letter. I kind of see what you were saying, but I don't think you can see what I'm saying. And it leads to discussion, and you can get things resolved that way. In the classroom, good and bad, I leave notes in the kids' school bags. They have no idea it's in there till they get home and they open up, take books out for homework, and maybe something they did that day that was terrific. I have a little comment on with a smiley face and sign it. It makes them feel good when they say it. If something they did wrong, they find the note and it spells out what they did wrong because maybe they weren't receptive in the class to verbally speak, which is how I like to do it. They get to read the note from me about what they didn't do right. And they think about it and they tell me the next day, I got your note. You were right. Thank you for writing that to me. Guys, notes. They can be the best thing for you between your son and daughter and yourself. It eliminates all the heartache, the tears, the crying, and it puts both parties on an even playing field, and you end up getting things resolved that day. Guys, have a great week. Notes, they can work for you. Okay, just take the time to zip a note, leave it on the pillow, somewhere private where they'll find it, and everything will take care of itself. It's a great way to avoid those knockdown, drag-out disagreements that you have with your teens and middle schoolers. Guys, have a great week. Any problems, questions, jlignor@standrewschool.com. jlignor@standrewschool.com. Have a great week, guys. Peace, love. Bobby Sherman.